keep on telling you well.
Hey, look at
You don't come home from nights out.
I say I've been hustling in and out the door for every dollar, no discussing it.
What is up, everybody? It is Wednesday, or nope, it is Tuesday, Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday. Monday night here at USA Bassin Kayak, and we are bringing you live tonight the USA Bassin Kayak Award Show. My name is Chad Brock, and you probably noticed Jason Cassidy is not in the house tonight. Forgive him. He had something work-related he had to do tonight. So, yeah, you guys are stuck with just me. But that's okay. We've got guests. Tonight, we're talking all about recent tournaments in Indiana. So we had, over the past couple of days, we've had the Indiana Small Lakes, and we've had the introduction of the Indiana Weeknighters series. So I'm going to bring in my special panel, my Hoosier panel. Welcome to the stage, Bruce. Man, my tongue is tripping tonight, bud. Beechler, Jordan Potter, and Brian Chum Daddy Carson. I about called you Cassidy.
Oh, that's almost cussing a
man.
man.
I'm a hot mess tonight. I'm here to tell you. But no, so guys, welcome to the show. Tonight we're talking all about tournaments that you guys have all recently fished. Let's start with the Weeknighters. All three of you guys fished the Weeknighter tournament. Our first one, everybody had a little bit of a different strategy. But let's start with you, Brian. You were the third place finisher with 26 inches overall. Let's talk a little bit about what you had going into the day and the strategy that you took for that event.
We're supposed to have a strategy? I didn't know that.
Oh, you're kind of supposed to. I mean, you can wing it. It never hurts.
Yeah. Hey, that was like my first weeknighter ever. Even with glitter boats, kayak, everything. That was my first weeknighter.
Really?
Honest to God, in 50 years, I've never fished a weeknighter ever. So it was kind of a cool little experience. Getting on the water at that time, where I was at, I was like, hey, we're gonna do some top water and catch some, chubby girls coming off that spawn or whatever. And it just did not work out that way for me.
So, gotta ask,
Yep.
Where did you go?
I went to Bluegrass. I fished Loon Pit because I'm familiar with it more than the other pits. And I literally threw just about everything in the world at them and could not buy a bite to save my life. And it really surprised me too there. And I don't know how the northern lakes are right now, but Bluegrass is already so full of grass. It is unbelievable. You got the slime grass, you got the tall grass, you got the medium grass, you still got brown dead grass. You got grass everywhere up there. And it was just, and I expected the grass. I didn't expect that much of it. And if you fish bluegrass in the summertime, you have to play the grass. And there's very few what I would call defined fishing lanes. So you're not going to have shallow points. You're not going to have rocky bottoms. You're not going to have flats. It's grass infested. And I was not prepared for it.
All right. Bruce, you were second place for the first annual Weeknighter. You had 64 3/4 inches. Give us a little play-by-play. Kind of tell us a little bit about how your night went.
Wacky rig. I went to Beaver Lake. I don't know if y'all have ever heard it up there by Jasper. I fished the docks. All I did was fish the docks all night. Wacky rig, 2 different colors, watermelon, black and blue. Got into a couple nice ones, but couldn't get them come into the boat. So I ended up with what I got, and that's about all I can tell you. I didn't do anything else but a wag. I tried crankbait and spinner baits, glide baits, but nothing else would work for me. So I stuck to the wacky rig all night. But it was pretty fun.
Nice. So for you, I know Brian said it was his first weeknighter ever fishing. I mean, is it something you've done before, is fish a little short tournament, like a week,
I
either in a bass boat or a kayak?
One other time I fished Bass Lake with Sam Jones and probably about 4 or 5 other guys. They had a weeknighter that we did. Other than that, this is only the second one I've ever done.
Nice, nice, nice. Well, Jordan, you took home the grand prize, the big win for this thing, and also took home big bass. But your strategy was a little bit different than Bruce and Brian's. Man, all smallmouth. Talk to us a little bit about what your thinking was headed into this first weeknighter, man.
Yeah, well, my thinking was I have sucked at lakes all year long thus far. Anything pre-spawn is terrible, I find for myself. So I went up and hit the bronze fish and the brown fish and hit up a tippy canoe and it was just right about that flow rate that was safe. It was a little questionable. It's coming over the dam pretty good. But yeah, I know that they were, spawning a little bit earlier. And I think that they're now finally in that kind of post-spawn feed time. And I didn't really get on fish really until the last hour, which I think that's the biggest difference that you see, right? With the night events over the regular day events, and then the morning is that it's trying to bide in that time until that last hour before dark, and it really picked up that the quad blade booyah bait spinner bait. Really, they were just smashing it and hailing it, but it's just funny, it just picked up like that.
And dude, I mean, a night of smallmouth fishing is never a bad thing. I don't care if it's day, night, what time it is. Smallmouth fishing is always a little bit more fun than going largemouth fishing. But so obviously it's the first weeknighter, and for you guys that don't at home that are watching this or may have questions, one of the things for the weeknighter is it is a shortened amount of time. So these guys started at 4:30 Central or 5:30 Eastern, and they fished till I think it was about 9 o'clock-ish, and then we had a 9:30 upload time. So with that being said, short time. So you guys had just a few hours to get this thing done. Did you guys play it close to work, or did you have a spot that you just went ahead, got off work a little bit early and drove to? How'd you pick your destinations on where you guys were going to fish at?
I got off early and drove up there where I went to, and kind of put on a little early and rode around, checked stuff out. And so yeah, I was about an hour away from my house, but it isn't too bad. And I love that lake. It's either you're gonna have an amazing day up there at Beaver and you can catch some nice fish, or you're gonna do what I did and just catch that mediocre bag, and that's what you're left with.
Yeah, I was about an hour and a half, 2 hours, something like that, depending on traffic from home. I got off as early as I could, and I didn't even get on the water till about 5:50. And that was just, I think that's just part of it with the weeknights. And I was also waiting out a freaking thunderstorm that blew up on me. And of course, it was one of those that blew up and didn't even have it on the radar, so I didn't have the rain jacket or anything. One of those. So.
Yeah, I just kind of lucked out. I was off that day, and 40 minutes from the house. So, that's bluegrass pits are just right down the road from me in Evansville. So that was just I knew there were bigger fish there, so that's what I was going for. So instead of driving, Patoka or someplace like that.
Now, when you're out there, a weeknighter, obviously, your time frame is shorter. With that, how did it affect your thinking throughout the day? Did you feel like you automatically started the event with a faster cadence than normal?
Yeah, 100% for me. I started out like, the old days, like KVD would say, I was power fishing my butt off, and I was throwing every kind of blade bait and minnow I could throw to cover water as quickly as I could. And then, like Jordan said earlier, it's like I didn't get my first bite. I think it was until like 6:30, close to 7 o'clock, is when I got my first bite. So yeah, it was kind of unimpressive for a little bit.
Yeah, same here. I have a bad habit of really soaking baits and spending too much time throwing, 4 or 5 different things at a little area. And so I was trying to cover a little bit more water as much you can in the river setting, and just knowing the spots that I've had produce in the past. And so yeah, it was 2 baits the entire time. I wacky rigged it like Bruce, and then the spinner bait, and try to. I did also snag about a 13-pound Asian carp. That was a fun one, and that was within like 15 minutes of getting on the water. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a great day, and then as soon as you see it come up its slimy self, you're like, oh shit.
So you guys do have the Asian carp that far up
Oh,
towards Lafayette.
oh yeah, yeah. It's not quite as bad in Tippy. Wabash is like lousy with them though. That it gets,
Yeah.
they're just all over the place.
So for me, I already have my plans. I know beaver there's so many docks on that little hole of water that there's nothing else really you're going to do except soak some bait on the docks. And I'm a wacky rig. If I'm going to soak some bait, I'm going to throw a wacky rig. I did try a couple jigs, a bladed jig, nothing happened. So I stuck with the wacky worm and just caught what I caught. I mean, that's what happened.
Yeah, and Beaver, it is a good lake. It's a lake that a lot of people don't fish here around because you do have to do some different or get a permit from the city
Yeah.
of Jasper to get in there, and it is a public lake and anybody can get that permit, but it's just one that a lot of people don't think about. But it does have some good fish. Bluegrass pits have good fish, and obviously the Tippy has great fishing as well. So you guys are out there. I mean, at what point, it being a little bit slow, did the panic start to set in for the first weeknighter? I mean, was it something that you're an hour and a half into this thing and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have got to get moving or I'm not going to have a limit before this thing's over?
I don't think I started worrying really because I was catching a ton of little dinks. I just hadn't caught the 12s that I needed and bigger. But when I started getting them and I was looking at the app and seeing that someone else was catching them too, I was like, that's when I started getting worried. I'm like, dang. And after the tournament, I talked to him a little bit about it, and that was pretty cool that he was able to go up there and smash them smallmouth. I know he had a great time on that river. So, but as far as being worried, I was just out there to have fun and see what happens.
Yeah, I was just aiming for a limit. Like I didn't know, I know Bruce obviously. I didn't know Brian, but I was like, I know they're gonna at least catch the limit, right? And so I was like, you never know with this short of a period if they just are in the wrong spot, or if the fish are migratory. You just a limit could very well just win it for you. So that's what I was. I was more worried about getting my photos in on time because I don't know whoever's been up, if anyone's up there, there's no service up there. So I was going up and down the river, phone up in the air. And I don't even know if I even was wondering, there was people on the docks that were over there fishing. And I was like, hey, what is your guys' service like? Can I I don't know, is there a way I can bounce off of you guys or like do I don't even, what is it even called? I don't know, with like the data sharing or whatever. It was like, but I ended up was able to finally get it. But it's always a rush up there trying to get that in on time.
Now, this, I guess, boat fishing, you really don't have a leaderboard. Like if we're out in the glitter boats or whatever, there's no Tourney X app. It's all, you're waiting until 9 o'clock and everybody shows up and brings their way bag in. How much did the leaderboard affect what you guys were doing while you were out there? Do you think it was more impressionable versus, having a whole 8 hours? It was like, okay, I don't really worry about it in 8 hours, but I can see it and I know I'm short on time. So now it's something that's in the back of my mind.
For me, I'm one of those people. I don't even look at it unless it's getting close to going into the ramp. That's the only time I really look at the leaderboard. It's like I just try to fish my fish and fish my game, and that's it. I don't. Usually somebody will text me or something like that and say, "Hey, if it's a live leaderboard, hey, you're here," or something like that. But I don't even pay attention to it.
Oh,
No,
buddy's texting you, asking you if you're going to catch anything today, anytime soon.
Yeah, that was the
Does any
time.
of that happen?
That was the time when I started to panic. And that was about 6 o'clock ish. I got a text saying, "Is anybody going to catch anything, or are we just out here playing around, or what?" And I'm like, "I'm really trying. I promise."
I got to agree with him about worrying about that tourney X. When I first started this, I think this is my third or fourth year doing these tournaments on a kayak. I used to stare at that thing all day long, and it sucked because you expected to do more for that day, and you're watching that tourney app, and you're thinking, "Man, I know I'm gonna get by him." And at the end of the day, you don't, and it just kind of ruined the vibe of fishing. So last year, my third year last year, after the first and second year, I stopped looking at that. I'll look at it once or twice during an 8-day tournament just to look at it, but I don't sweat it no more. I kind of just go out there, do my thing, have fun, and what happens happens. I'm not out there to stare at that phone all day, so I gave that up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much same here.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Um,
I will admit I gave up when I was at the ramp and fishing right around the ramp, and I opened it up and I saw Jordan had like 70 some inches or something like that. And I said, screw it, I'm done. I'm done.
I did, and I tried to chase him. I was throwing. I had about 7 poles, and I bet I changed bait at least once on each one of them poles trying to catch Jordan. I just couldn't get anything to bite other than that wacky worm, and nothing big was biting for me. So
and Bruce moves. I mean, I fished around Bruce at Tucker Lake there that one time, and I know you don't let off the gas very often, Bruce. You kind of keep that kayak moving. You don't settle in very long somewhere.
sure.
Well, and that's the thing, Bruce, with like the wacky, because I constantly, I could just go out there and throw a Senko all day long, but like it's hard to fish fast. Like to fish a Senko right, you have to be slow, and
Yep.
that's always the problem that I run into, and that's why I will always have it on, tied on, but like I've got to force myself. Like you can get one cast at this piece of 1 or 2 casts at this lay down or whatever, and then I've got to go to something else.
That's what I do. I cast that wacky worm on one side of the dock, and then I go to the other side and I cast on the other side of the dock. And if the nothing hits, I'm moving to the next dock. I'm not going to sit there and try to cast under it or on top of it or the back of it. I'm going to hit them 2 sides and I'm moving on. I'm not going to sit there and waste time.
And one of the interesting things I think, and Jordan, you don't have scope either because you was out on the river, right?
I do have scope, but I did not bring it
Okay.
that day. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So basically, this whole tournament, Fast and Furious, was no scope. So that's fun. That adds a dynamic to it as well.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think I will ever take, because you waste so much time chasing fish. I was doing
Mhm.
that the other day at Summit, and I was chasing fish for like an hour, and then it turns out that they were carp. But afterwards, they were behaving just like bass. And I was at Eagle the other day, and I caught they were behaving just like bass, and then I pulled up a freaking channel cat.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's that, and with the 3 hours that you get, 3.5 hours, it's not worth it.
No.
Interesting. That's fun. That's good advice. So something to think about. Don't get. I mean, I could definitely see where scoping you could go down a rabbit hole and chasing a particular fish, and before you know it, especially this time of year while they're spawning, um, get wrapped up real quick on something and miss out on some time. So that's valuable information. So not this week, but next week, the Weeknighters are back in action. Are you guys planning on fishing them? And if so, what are you guys thinking is the game plan for the next one?
Starve Hollow.
Starve Hollow.
I think
Interesting.
I'm going.
I like
Yeah,
it.
I think I'm going to Starve. I wanted to this time, but I kind of did. I fished the Beaver about a week or so before this Weeknighter with another club. They had an event there, and I fished there. And I'm like, I did pretty good there, so I'm going to stick with the Beaver this time, see what happens. But the next one, I think I'm going to go up to Starve Hollow, and I love running that chartreuse and gold blade spinnerbait up there at Starve Hollow up there, and them leaves back there. What do you call them leaves on the top of the water?
Like the lily pads up there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
I go out there and I throw that heavy, 3/4 ounce whitehead chartreuse with the gold blade, maple blades on it, out there in them cattails and lily pads, and they just, if you hit it right, they just flat eat it up. And I've caught some nice 20, 21 inches out of there. So I think that's my plan for the next one.
And that's a lake that'll start to see here in the next couple of weeks. Probably a lot of pressure as campers start pushing into the area for Memorial Day weekend. So
Yep.
definitely a good time to hit it before they get out there. I know we've had some USA Bassin big boat tournaments out there here lately as well. What
Yeah,
about you, Mr.
I
Brian
haven't
Chum
been.
Daddy?
I ain't been at Starve Hollow in probably, what was that, 15 years ago, man, you fished that?
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah, 15 to 100. Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. So, I won't be able to make the next one due to work, but I will probably always fish bluegrass, at least one of the pits. I'll probably on the weeknighters, I would change it up every time, just due to exploring. For me, it's an explorer. It's like I want to fish. I want to catch good fish. Of course, I want to win like everybody else, but that weeknighter gives me more time to explore, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll probably stick with the river at some point. I don't know, maybe Tippy, maybe. We'll have to see what the flow rates are. I need to be doing some pre-fishing for some other ones, but Sugar Creek's always another good one that's got some good bronze fish in it. But yeah, I don't know anymore. It's chasing the brown fish is better than the green fish in my eyes, and
Absolutely.
more consistent action.
It's addicting. It's a separate addiction of its own is catching brown fish in moving water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a whole other challenge to it as well, especially with as much rain as we've had lately. It's that current, and it just makes it, even the dinks, whenever you get one downstream of you, that they make it fights for you.
Yeah, it's a whole different world for sure. But we also had this past week, and kind of plays into as we talk strategy and some of these different places that you guys can go. We had the Indiana Small Lakes tournament, and Bruce ended up taking home the win on that one. So congratulations to you, Bruce.
Thank you.
But it was an interesting tournament as well. So small lakes kind of highlight Indiana's trolling motor only lakes. They're lakes that are generally smaller, around 400 acres ish, places where you can't run a big motor. So boat traffic is non-void or is void. I mean, there's none of it out there. The only thing you're going to come across most generally is other people paddling kayaks or some John boats out there with a couple trolling motors and a bunch of crappie rods. Brian, you fished those as well with us in the past. What are some of the things that goes into the selection of a small lake? Like, what are you guys looking for? And even you, Jordan, when you're looking at picking a venue for the weeknighters, what are you guys looking for as far as ideal locations?
Well, for me, I'm looking for productivity. So for down here, there's only really two lakes that fit that criteria for the small lakes. One of them I know has millions of 10 and 12-inch fish in it. The other one I know has 19, 20 plus fish in it, 19, 20-inch plus fish in it. So my next closest lake would be Springs Valley Tucker. And that's 2 hours north of me. There's just nothing in this area. Or Bruce and I have actually talked. There's a lake closer to the Louisville area. But even at that, I'm looking at 2.5, almost 3 hours to get east. So it's like, do I want to set a big limit quick, or do I want to hit a home run and go for the win? And that's the gamble we take in that.
Sure. Bruce, how about you? What are you looking at? Like when you go and you're setting up your day for a small lake event? I mean, what's something that you're looking for that makes you say, well, maybe that's the one?
Laydowns and floods. I'm a huge flooded guy. If it rains and the water's up just that 3, 4, 5, 6 inches, and I know there's plenty of laydowns or there's bushes or trees that the water's made it up to, and I know now the bass are going to be there. So I'm a buzzbait guy. I am 100%. I don't care where we go fishing. If I have to take one bait, I am taking my buzzbait. So the lake I chose that I went to this time, I ended up going the day before, and I seen that it was flooded. I didn't even have to think twice. I knew the next day, this is where I'm going to go. This is what I'm going to fish. And I literally took 3 poles on that lake with me, and it was all that I needed to, to catch the fish to get me a win.
Yeah, and to talk about your win just a little bit. So Wyatt Guard ended up, and Wyatt couldn't make it on tonight. He had to work late as well. Wyatt ended up with 57 3/4 inches. His big fish of the day was an 18 3/4. But he only had 4 fish. So that one fish may have cost Wyatt the day.
Yeah.
And then TJ Alward, man, he put a run on you, Bruce. And
I
then
know
he
we did.
uploaded it. He put the big fish of the tournament on the board, a 20.5. Good looking fish. I'm gonna do the old share screen here. There's that unit right there. It was a great catch. But there again, man, Bruce, he only had 4 fish. The only limit of the tournament turned out to be Bruce. And while your fish you didn't have the big kicker that Wyatt or TJ had, having that limit made the difference in your day.
Right. And I'm not going to exaggerate, but I damn near caught 20 fish or more out there. And the only two baits I used, I run out there at John Hayes Lake. It's a lot of people don't fish that lake because they don't think there's great bass in it. But I've caught some 18s, 19s, and 20s out there. Not very often, but you catch a lot of 14s and 15s. But all them trees up in them back coves were underwater. The laydowns were underwater, a good 1.5 2 foot. And I went back in there first thing in the morning with that buzz bait, and they just absolutely ate. I mean, they tore that buzz bait up. That lasted till probably 11:30 noonish. I grabbed something to eat, went out there with a chartreuse gold-bladed spinner bait, and I couldn't go wrong with that. So between the buzz bait and the spinner bait, they just all them little 14 and a quarters and unders, they just absolutely ate, just tore the baits up. So it was fun. I wish I could have got bigger ones out of there that day, but it was fun catching all the fish that I did catch. So I did have a good time.
Again, the limit, man. The limit made the difference on that one. And, I think, Jordan, even for like the weeknights, like you said, having that limit right out of the gate is going to come down to being super important, especially as we head into June and July and that water starts getting hot.
Yeah, for sure. I'm waiting for that water to get a little bit warmer. I can't believe you're already getting those buzzbait bites, Bruce. I'm not even getting the smallies with the choppos or anything yet.
Yeah, this will be the second tournament that I've used the buzzbait, and they're just they're absolutely eating it. They're just tearing it up.
What was water temperature?
I think I had 63, 64 degrees out there.
Yeah, it's been, I think with the river, it's been a lot colder under Freeman and Schaefer. It was like 57.
Yeah,
So,
Oh, wow.
this is up in that like that foot and a half deep. You know, it wasn't so deep. So when that sun hits it, it's gonna heat it up pretty good. But I think I was right around 63, 64, and up there and up there. You ever been to John Hayes Lake and fished it?
Oh, yeah.
There is so many it's ridiculous the laydowns that's underwater. You can literally ride that bank all the way around that lake, and there's trees everywhere underwater. And when you get up to that foot and a half, 2 foot, and you're throwing that buzz bait up in there, it's amazing when you're standing up because you can see them bass just come out from underneath the trees and branches and lips and just tear the buzz bait up. So it's a great bite out there. It's really fun.
Now, as far as Indiana fishing goes, let's just talk general here for a second. Brian is all the way down south. Bruce, you and I are kind of mid-range, and Jordan, apparently you're further north. Where do you guys feel like the fish are in their spawning stages right now?
Down here anyway, there's some spots they're still spawning. There's other spots they've done spawned and they're done. I've seen some spots the other day that were actually all the way back out on primary points. So they're moving back out, and like Bruce said, the water down here, I want to say it was around 63-ish, 64-ish the other day, but we still had a cold front come through right before that. So I think it's dropped back off a little bit, but today it was like 80 degrees down here. So it's warming back up quick.
Yeah, I agree. I think the spawning's pretty much you may spot one or two, something happening, but no, I think they're about over with. I think they're starting to move back out and get to where the fishing's going to get great again.
Yep.
yeah, I've not done as much lakes the past couple of weeks, but what I've seen, it does seem like they're kind of still at the tail end of the spawn in terms of the largies and spots. I think or the smallies are definitely post spawn and getting that post spawn feed in.
For sure. So talking about, and I mentioned a little just a second ago, June, July, the weeknighters. That is where I think the weeknighters could get impressive as we move forward versus the small lakes, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But the weeknighters, do you, Jordan, do you think that the smallmouth fishing with the cooler water on the river is something that can prevail versus fishing the hot lakes where fish probably going to go a little bit deeper? They're probably going to get a little bit more lethargic. Do you see smallmouth on moving water being able to carry the weight all the way through summer?
Do you want me to tell you the truth, or do you want me to tell you the answer that I don't want others to hear?
You can tell, hey, buddy, this is a
100%.
podcast. This is not a lie detector test. You tell us
Yeah.
what you want us to know.
Yeah, I mean 100%. I think so. I mean, I will fish after work. I love after work fishing. There's a difference. I think between getting up in the morning, breaking dawn, and then working that hotter afternoon, and then feeling that evening come in. And I think definitely that moving water, the rapids. You can spot them. I think a lot easier in the river setting than you can in the in a larger lake system, particularly when you have those shallow, rocky rivers that have the lots of rapids and stuff. They're going to be setting up right there behind the eddies and everything, feeding, and it's just a great thing. And honestly, in the next couple of weeks, that water temperature gets up, like having those choppos, the whopper ploppers and stuff, that's just gold,
Yeah.
especially as it starts getting dark, gold mine.
I gotta agree. I got Indian Creek and Little Blue River run through my town. So here in the next few weeks, when that water's up in them getting close to 70, 68, 72, I'm gonna be burning up those chopos and whopper ploppers, and yeah, I'm gonna have a good time then. Then I can catch me some smallies.
Now, here's the next question, Brian. I mean, do you think that, man, through the week though, through the week on the lakes, there's not as much pressure. You know, old Jim Bob, he's at work. There might be a weeknight or two here and there that goes out, but you know, for the most part, the lake, you can pretty well have it to yourself on a weeknight if you hit it right. Do
Yep.
you think that relaxing boat pressure can lead to some bigger catches as fish get off the beds and start acting right again?
Oh, I do 100%, especially down here. And it's like, like I'll just use bluegrass for an instance because that, my weeknight spot. You have general traffic during the day. Mostly it's older fishermen and guys who work swing shift. That's it. The weekends it blows up just like every other lake. But June and July, everybody's taking vacations, everybody's doing their thing. So you just have, the older fishermen that are out there during the day, and most of them are still crappie fishing or trying to crappie fish, I should say. But once that June and July grass mats start, it's going to be frog heaven out there. I mean, you take one rod and a frog rod and take two or three frogs, and that's all you need.
So applying that same knowledge to small lakes, what do you guys what are you looking at for small lake patterns as we move in here towards June, July? I mean, how much do you think that these little bitty lakes are going to change as more pressure starts coming on Saturday afternoon? I mean, because once Labor Day hits, Jimmy and Diane, they're going to show up with a trailer from Rule King with about 35 Rule King kayaks on it. And then old James, he's going to have his John boat with his 10 kids in it. He's going to be coming out there crappie fishing. How much do you guys think that that's going to change the small lake patterns?
A lot. That's where what Jordan Potter said about catching your limit and making sure you get that limit is going to really count on them small lakes. I think it's a great division. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but it's going to be super tough when you start getting all these bank fishers and then people out there in their little kayaks trying to fish with their bobbers and worms and stuff out there. And you're trying to go around the bank, beating the bank or fishing wherever you're going to fish. It's going to be a whole different scenario on them small lakes. It's going to be tough, but if you can get that limit, you might just win your tournament.
Yeah, and another thing to think about on the weeknighters too. I mean, we haven't seen Monroe or any of those come into play on the weeknighters, so though that could factor in. I mean, you just never know. There's so many different puzzles within this. Like the small lakes, it could be the battle of the 12s. It could be those 13, 14-inch fish that somebody catches throughout their limit that makes all the difference in the world, because a lot of these small lakes are full of that type of fish. So it makes it kind of like the Sabine River and Bassmaster. It's just dumb and competitive.
Yeah, that was all I caught for my tournament win was 12s and 13. Well, I did get 114 and a quarter, but I hung around that. I probably averaged about 12 and 3/4 that day. That was probably my average on my 5 fish that won. So I think catching that limit is going to be huge at them small lakes during this division this year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And unless that small lake is managed well by somebody, that's all you're going to have at a lot of them is the 12 to 14-inch fish. You take like Linville Lake up here and down south. I mean, it's just full of 10s and 12s and 14s. I've never seen nothing over 16 inches there in 20 years. But you take like the T Lakes up there at Interlake. I mean, I've caught 20-inch fish out of it, but it's a whole different. I don't want to say geography, but it fishes more like Kentucky Lake in the summertime because you have big rock wall faces and drop offs and ledges in it compared to the other smaller lakes around here.
You guys had somebody that was asking you questions about either of these two divisions and kind of what to expect or maybe what should I do? What advice would you give those anglers that are thinking about jumping in one of these 2 tournaments?
I do. I don't know. I didn't change much up. I mean, I'm just out there to have fun and compete. I'm not going to worry. Hey, I need to get first. That just ruins your whole tournament. So I just go out, get on the lake, throw what I'm going to throw, and have fun and meet people and enjoy the moment. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah, I would just say do it. It's a different experience. I love having something different. The small lakes division is not going to work out for me in terms of scheduling and stuff. But the having something different, I love that idea of just having something different than the kind of everybody. You got the grubby on the one hand, or it's got the kind of the difference, and then you've got everything else in the IKA and this moving waters and KDF, all of these different things. The USA Bassin, in terms of all these normal kind of tournaments on the same bodies of water, the single day tournaments. This is just something different, and like it gets a different challenge, and it is like it's you're fishing the same body of water, but it is a different type of fishing, especially the more we get into the summer, right? Like it's going to be something that you're just going to have to be a lot more strategic in terms of where you're spending that time in that very short window. And yeah, I mean, it's just a different challenge and do it.
Yeah.
And the weeknighters are, for those of you guys at home, there's actually 10 of them instead of like the normal 5, like what we see for the Hoosier division and all the other divisions that are across USA Bassin. These weeknighters are 10 because they're half the time, so they're half the points. We run 10 of them throughout the year, but man, the points can, I mean, especially with, you're going to have some people come in and steal some points here and there, obviously, throughout the summer. But that thing can really swing around as far as the points go throughout 10 tournaments.
As long as we keep Jordan Potter off the rivers, we'd be all right.
Good luck.
You're going to have to start getting off work earlier, Bruce.
No, I'm ready. I'm ready to hit the. I got the little blue that literally Indian Creek is right here behind my house, and the little blue runs a couple miles from me, runs up to Leavenworth. I got the old 62 that runs from Corydon into Leavenworth, and man, it's great. A lot of people don't know it for the smallies. They know it for the other bass, but it's full of smallies, and I've caught some nice 20 and a half inch smallies out of there, and it's super beautiful. So I'm excited to be, when it warms up a little more, like Jordan said, here in a few weeks, I'm excited to get back on that river, the Blue River or the Indian Creek, and start catching some smallies too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I can tell you, I will not be beating you on the river behind my house on East Fork down here in Bedford, because I guarantee you I'm not going out there and catching any silt donkeys that are probably no longer than 12 inches unless I get way back up in the creek.
Oh, wow.
I have to be damn near the golf course before you get into the good
I thought
ones.
that place was full of, isn't the East, I thought your White River, right? Correct?
Yep. East
Isn't
Fork.
that full of big,
We're full of what?
isn't that full of big smallies up in there, or?
Not in Bedford, bud. That we have some,
okay.
yes, but you have to get back up in the creeks pretty far before you really get into them good. But we're really silted in. Of course, we've got the Williams Dam on our stretch, so we run a lot of boats up and down there. But yeah, it's a different stretch of river than what you see in Columbus, Seymour, Azalea. It's different. It's different down here. We've got all the roundup fish.
Nice. Hey, they all count as long as you can catch 5 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think 5/8 inches are gonna matter, Bruce.
No, that ain't gonna count for sure.
No,
Jordan.
Jordan, if I fish white, like anywhere near Indy or anything, like it's one, you smell the laundry all the time. Which I'll tell you, drains are awesome. There's several drains on white that are great to fish, but it's always sketchy. It's always taking a shower as soon as you get home from those.
So I got a question, Jordan. If you had, and I don't want you to give up your sweet spot, of course, for sure, but if you had to pick a good spot or a good river, just say a good river, what would your choice be as far as choosing out of all the rivers we got in Indiana? What's your go-to river if you had to fish it for a good tournament?
It really depends, I think, on the time of year. I know a few guys that are going to laugh at me about this, but I don't think Wabash is one of the better ones. Like if you in the fall, once they kind of start transitioning more towards their winter holes and doing that fall, I've had a ton of great fish. Catching. I've caught my PB there with smallies, but Tippecanoe, I would say, on the whole, is probably the best. Sugar Creek's another good one. But I would say, yeah, some of those northern ones up there are some of the better ones. I've never fished Elkhart or St. Joe's, but I know those have some good fish as well.
St. Joe's has some good fish. Marcus Grubbs in the comments, and I have fished that, and it is a lot of fun up there on the St. Joe's. There's also some big pike up there that you can accidentally get into on the St. Joe's and the Elkhart, which are pretty cool. So
Nice.
it's a great spot too. Just it's a long drive.
Yeah. Well, especially for you all, that's a hell of a drive.
Yeah.
It's faster to go to Kentucky Lake than it is to go up to Goshen. So
Yeah, that's the thing about being down south. I can be at the lake in an hour and 30 minutes. And it takes me 2 hours to get to Patoka.
Mm-hmm.
So
I understand that. Well, guys, so we're pretty well wrapping this thing up with a bow on it at this point in time. So as we're sitting here, I kind of want to go around the room, let you guys thank anybody at home or any sponsors that you need to thank, and just tell people where to find you on the socials. We'll start with you, Chum Daddy.
well, I would like to thank my wife, of course, and everybody that's out there that knows me knows she's in the hospital right now. I'm at the hospital right now, if you can't tell. So everybody say a little prayer for her. We're hoping she gets better really quick. But without her, none of this fishing stuff is possible. And that's the God's honest truth. She got me back into it after many, many years of being out. And she supports me 100%. As far as the social goes, you can find us on the Instagram, Chum Daddy Baits. If you want to see us on the Facebook, it's just my name, Brian Crossan. And X is the same way.
Jordan.
Yeah, I guess just thank my wife for putting the kids to bed while I travel an hour and a half, 2 hours away to go catch some fish. Yeah, socials, just Facebook, Jordan Potter, and do Yakin and Bassin on YouTube. Actually got I just uploaded a video on there of me catching one where my reel ended up screwing up on me. The reverse bearing, I think, gave out on it, and I had to hand line it in. And I think that was actually big fish, 17 3/4. So that's a nice little video.
Well, I'd like to say first off, Brian, prayers for your lovely wife. I don't think I have anybody to thank. I don't have a wife. So and my kids are grown up, so I kind of get to do what I want. But I would like to thank, I guess, everybody that fishes, and especially those that take care of the waters and that want to make it nice for the kids that are growing up and get to fish, in the future. But other than that, that's it. Another guy fishing on YouTube, TikTok, and all those social medias. Yeah, and anybody that's watching, you have to at least come out and try the Weeknighter one time, the small lakes one time. I think you'll come back again if you do so.
For sure. And obviously, Fishing USA Bassin, you can qualify for your chance to go to beautiful Lake Barkley in Kentucky in the LBL. We'll be heading there this fall for our USA Bassin Kayak Classic. 250 points. That's all it takes. You can get there too. Pretty easy, really. We've got enough tournaments here in Indiana that you can make it down there, take a crack at winning 5,000 smackaroonies for yourself, and a chance at a brand new boat all at the same time. So get involved, get registered, come fishing with us. We're excited about it. The people at Catawba Tourism are super excited. And man, gentlemen, if you catch 100 inches, you get one of these cool belts.
The belt. The belt.
The
The belt.
belt. Nobody has won the belt yet this year, so we're waiting on somebody to crack 100 inches, get one of these cool belts, cool trophies coming at the Classic. So we're going to give away them belts at the Classic for anybody that catches 100 inches. So get signed up, catch 100 inches, win a belt, go to the Classic, win $5,000, brand new boat, and yeah, good stuff to come. We will be back here with the USA Bassin Kayak Awards show next Monday night, 8 o'clock. Jason may be here. Jason may be at work. We'll just have to see. But we've got more tournaments coming up this weekend. New York's coming back into the mix. There's so much going on in the USA Bassin world. I can't even remember it all off the top of my head right now. But there you go. Get registered. We'll see you guys on the next one. Good night, everybody.
Good night.